The life of Vincent van Gogh. Vincent Willem van Gogh was born on March 30, 1853 in Groot-Zundert, in the predominantly Catholic province of North Brabant in the Netherlands. He was the oldest surviving child of Theodorus van Gogh (1822–1885), a minister of the Dutch Reformed Church, and his wife, Anna Cornelia Carbentus (1819–1907). Van Gogh was given the name of his grandfather and of a brother stillborn exactly a year before his birth. His grandfather, Vincent (1789–1874), was a prominent art dealer and a theology graduate from the University of Leiden in 1811. This Vincent had 6 sons, 3 of whom became art dealers, and may have been named after his great-uncle, a sculptor, 1729–1802. Van Gogh's mother came from a prosperous family in The Hague. His father was the youngest son of a minister. The two met when Anna's younger sister, Cornelia, married Theodorus's older brother Vincent, Sent. Van Gogh's parents married in May 1851 and moved to Zundert. His brother Theo was born on May 1, 1857. There was another brother, Cor, and 3 sisters, Elizabeth, Anna, and Wilhelmina, known as Will. In later life, Van Gogh remained in touch only with Wilhelmina and Theo. Theodorus's salary as a minister was modest, but the church also supplied the family with a house, a maid, 2 cooks, a gardener, a carriage and horse. His mother Anna instilled in the children a duty to uphold the family's high social position. Van Gogh was a serious and thoughtful child. He was taught at home by his mother and a governess, and in 1860 was sent to the village school. In 1864, he was placed in a boarding school at Zevenbergen, where he felt abandoned, and he campaigned to come home. Instead, in 1866, his parents sent him to the middle school in Tilburg, where he was also deeply unhappy. His interest in art began at a young age. He was encouraged to draw as a child by his mother, and his early drawings are expressive, but do not approach the intensity of his later work. Constant Cornelis Huysmans, who had been a successful artist in Paris, taught the students at Tilburg. His philosophy was to reject technique in favor of capturing the impressions of things, particularly nature or common objects. Van Gogh's profound unhappiness seems to have overshadowed the lessons, which had little effect. In March 1868, he abruptly returned home. He later wrote that his youth was austere and cold, and sterile. In July 1869, Van Gogh's uncle Sent obtained a position for him at the art dealers Goupil and C in The Hague. After completing his training in 1873, he was transferred to Goupil's London branch on Southampton Street, and took lodgings at 87, Hackford Road, Stockwell. This was a happy time for Van Gogh. He was successful at work and, at 20, was earning more than his father. Theo's wife, Jo van Gogh-Bonger, later remarked that this was the best year of Vincent's life. He became infatuated with his landlady's daughter, Eugenie Lawyer, but she rejected him after he confessed his feelings. She was secretly engaged to a former lodger. He grew more isolated and religiously fervent. His father and uncle arranged a transfer to Paris in 1875, where he became resentful of issues such as the degree to which the art dealers commodified art, and he was dismissed a year later. In April 1876, he returned to England to take unpaid work as a supply teacher in a small boarding school in Ramsgate. When the proprietor moved to Isleworth in Middlesex, Van Gogh went with him. The arrangement was not successful. He left to become a Methodist minister's assistant. His parents had meanwhile moved to Eton. In 1876, he returned home at Christmas for 6 months and took work at a bookshop in Dordrecht. He was unhappy in the position, and spent his time doodling or translating passages from the Bible into English, French, and German. He immersed himself in Christianity and became increasingly pious and monastic. According to his flatmate of the time, Paulus van Gorlitz, Van Gogh ate frugally, avoiding meat. To support his religious conviction and his desire to become a pastor, in 1877, the family sent him to live with his uncle Johannes Stricker, a respected theologian, in Amsterdam. Van Gogh prepared for the University of Amsterdam theology entrance examination. He failed the exam and left his uncle's house in July 1878. He undertook, but also failed, a 3-month course at a Protestant missionary school in Laeken, near Brussels. In January 1879, he took up a post as a missionary at Petit Wazams in the working-class, coal-mining district of Borinage in Belgium. To show support for his impoverished congregation, he gave up his comfortable lodgings at a bakery to a homeless person and moved to a small hut, where he slept on straw. His humble living conditions did not endear him to church authorities, who dismissed him for undermining the dignity of the priesthood. He then walked the 75 kilometers, 47 miles, to Brussels, returned briefly to Quezams in the Borinage, but he gave in to pressure from his parents to return home to Eton. He stayed there until around March 1880, which caused concern and frustration for his parents. His father was especially frustrated and advised that his son be committed to the lunatic asylum in Gogh. Van Gogh returned to Quezams in August 1880, where he lodged with a miner until October. He became interested in the people and scenes around him, and he recorded them in drawings after Theo's suggestion that he take up art in earnest. He traveled to Brussels later in the year, to follow Theo's recommendation that he study with the Dutch artist Willem Roelofs, who persuaded him, in spite of his dislike of formal schools of art, to attend the Académie Royale des Beaux-Arts. He registered at the Academy in November 1880, where he studied anatomy and the standard rules of modeling and perspective.